Hello, Cladman here. So we're trying a new thing. I have a wonderful little circle light that hopefully makes me look pretty. I don't know if I'm in love with it. It seems super bright. I feel like I'm staring off in like a light version of the sun. Don't get too close. Like if I was a moth or something like that. Anyhow, so I was going to do a thing today, but I'm not doing it. We'll do it tomorrow or some other time in the future. Anyhow, today we're going to talk about a board game. The board game of Risk. Dun dun dun. Now, if I had like a menagerie of people behind me to like help edit these things and make them awesome, or if I was adamant about like, oh no, I'm going to spend a lot of time and make this all nice, I would probably have written down a script, but I did not do that. So no script, no editing. You're just going to have Risk, my own version. Anyhow, so I'm embarrassed to say this, that in the 5 years that I've been dating my now wife, I had no idea that she liked the game of Risk. No idea whatsoever. I was actually of the mind that she wouldn't like it. And I don't know if that's like a sexist projection on my part, that I'm like, oh, yeah, my wife does not like this game. She won't like this game. It's kind of a me thing, blah, blah, blah. But we played a game, and this is not very, very recent. This was a few months back. Not even that, a month and a half ago, whatever. We played a game, and she loved it. She had a blast. She very much enjoyed it, okay? And then we played another game, just in case the first game was a fluke, and she still didn't enjoy it. And I was like, what the F? And then, so for the record, I'm just going to show you. This was the game, Classic Risk, okay? This is the game that we played. So we played 2 times of that game, I believe. And then we went over to my friend's house, and hi, Christoph and Joe, if you're watching this video. Went over to my friend's house, and it was very fascinating because, in their defense, we played an advanced version of Risk, which is this, okay? Now, I've only had the good fortune of playing that game once before this iteration. So I knew, maybe twice. So I knew a little bit of the rules, right? But what I thought was fascinating is it's basically the same thing as normal Risk, just with more stuff piled on top of it. But unlike some games where they just pile on more stuff and it doesn't really work and it's kind of not properly integrated and yada yada, this game I felt like it was properly integrated and added a lot of extra strategy and other things and other elements of like, yeah, you could be doing great and then not, and so on and so forth. They also added, and I think this was part of the original game, where there's like objectives. They did have objectives in the original game, but in this one it's like a bit more precise. And it made for an interesting thing because, yeah, you don't have to have the objectives, mind you, but we did, and we had like 4 or 5 people playing initially, and it made for an interesting thing because you're doing this stuff, and then if someone starts doing something kind of weirdly, you're like, why? Why is that? And you don't see their card. You don't know what their objective is. Good game. Good game. Another thing that I will say about this that I very much like was the fact that you go, there's like 2 large major land, if you will, objectives or additions. One being the moon. So you can land on and occupy and get rewarded for occupying the moon. And then the other one is there is water territories in between the continents. And both of those things combined make for a rather fascinating and interesting objective and struggle, because you can't just like go for it at the start of the game. It's not like a rush to the moon. You have to invest resources to do it, and then you have to conquer the moon. Or similarly with the water maps, or the water locations, you have to invest to be able to go into them in the first place, and then you have to conquer them. There's another element which I think is very fascinating, and this is like becoming a sales point for this game. Granted, I love the original game. Like the original Risk, this one, amazing. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I have a Warhammer 40K version that I haven't played yet. And I keep seeing this Game of Thrones version that I'm looking forward to getting. And if I get it and play it, I'll tell you how it goes. Anyhow, with the space version, which we're calling it Space Risk, there's another fascinating element of it. All these things are very interesting, but another one is, I think 3, maybe 4 parts in the whole world get nuked. So you basically put a tab on there, meaning no one can conquer it, no one can travel across it. It's basically Dead Man Zone, which is very, very interesting. And depending, it's randomly generated as to where it gets placed. Depending on where it gets placed, it adds a whole bunch of things to how you can traverse, and it has a whole other element. So, in closure, what I suggest is play this game with your friends. In my opinion, it's infinitely better than Monopoly. It's actually based on skill, as opposed to Monopoly tends to just be based on luck. No offense, Mom, but it just is. Whatever. I would also suggest, but I need to play a newer game, and frankly, less people know about it, so it's harder to play because you got to get people that know, is Settlers of Catan, which, in my opinion, is a terrific in-between game of Risk and Monopoly, in that it is very much like you do build stuff and you're building a pathway and you're conquering territories, but it's more of a peaceful conquering. So anyhow, that is what it is. Highly suggest you play Risk. Enjoy it. It's so well worth it. My lady and I were like, hey, let's play a game. And it was just like, oh my God, my heart almost skipped a beat because I was just like, yeah, definitely. So I'm going to end this video and go play a game with my goodness gracious, I'm married. To be fair, I'm only married a couple days. So anyways, I'm going to go play a game with my wife and hopefully my family. And yeah. Also, I want to know what you think of the light situation and if it works or if it's ridiculous. I'm playing with it. This is new to me, so I don't know. I feel kind of like trying to be one of those Hollywood actors. Like, how do I look? Oh man, that reminds me. I'm going to make a review about Entourage if I haven't already. Check it out soon. I love you all. Plaidman out. Bye.